started thinking about that video. I started thinking about my bone.
Man.
Look.
Oh, bro, that's too much.
That's too much for
the camera.
The WAP video. You don't have to hear about it. The WAP video. Just don't pay attention. The WAP video with Cardi B and
Megan Thee Stallion.
Foot Shot.
Yeah.
Delarice. Yeah. There's been a lot of people going back and forth on whether it's too racy.
Hold on. Before we get there.
Where we going?
The four of us are hip hop lovers, right? We love music.
Absolutely.
We've listened to all kinds of hip hop.
I'm waiting for what you're gonna say.
No, it's not that bad. 40 years of life. Like we've all had lots of music we listen to.
Been through a lot of phases.
As a track.
Yeah.
Just as a track.
Oh, it's a dope track.
It is a dope track.
It's a sick track.
Yeah, I can't say it's not a dope track.
It's a dope track.
It's
a dope ass track.
They sample one of my favorite joints. You know, there's some hoes in this. There's some like the track is fire.
Right? And look, we're all old enough that we remember when "There's Some Hoes in His House" came out. And it's a lot of people, mama, that was getting it, driving it back in 2000.
There are some grandmas that had a nostalgic moment when this
they were hoes in that house.
Yeah, so there's a lot of grandmas out here that was rocking to that. So don't act brand new.
Look, you say we hip hop heads, right? I'm gonna try your hip hop fanaticism. I'm gonna try you real quick.
It. I got you. What you got?
Cash rules everything around me.
Dollar bills.
What does that stand for?
You just said it. Cash is cream.
Cash I just wanted you to say that. All right, so I just wanted you to say that. My bad. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. You were talking about the esophagus and all that other stuff. So look, I couldn't help it. Look,
yo, man, let's get back on topic.
Look,
bro.
that Miles, do you think that people are off base when they say that it's too racy, that it's teaching kids the wrong things? Because there's other people saying, well, look, you know, they was dumping 40s on females and we had 2 live crews. So what's your thoughts on that?
So here's my thing. To answer your question is yes and yes. Yes is the kids shouldn't be hearing this as much. But yes, the other stuff was bad too. And I say this all the time. Miles at 20 and Miles at 42 years old is different. My perspective is different. What I understand is different. And I understand that we led this movement of misogyny, and not just misogyny, what was cool, what made you real, what kept you hard, what made you valid as a person, whether it be the drug dealing or whether it be the money and like crazy or the way we treated our women. We led this movement. We supported this movement. We bought the albums. We danced to the songs. We played the tracks.
Ain't no fun.
The homies can't have it. So, and if you come on right now, all 4 of us gonna jump up and dance to it because we can't. But without a doubt, the difference is this, and I always say difference, and it doesn't make it better, it doesn't make it worse. The difference is this: growing up, when these things came out when we were kids, right? We had to find it on TV. And that was the censored version for 4 to 6 on Rap City.
You had to wait for BET Uncut.
You had to wait for it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or you had to come on the radio and you got the censored version. Or if you went to the store to buy it, you couldn't buy it because you weren't old enough to buy it. Nowadays, this comes directly to your 10-year-old's fingers. Like directly without you knowing. While you sleeping at night, while you at work and she's at school, this is what she hears. This is what people tell her. Hey, you check the new video. You check this out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think, we still got to find a way to get our hands on it. And it was wrong then. I go back and listen to some of the stuff that I loved back then. And I'm like, my God. Like, this is what I was jamming to, whether it be misogynistic or even homophobic or even homo-supportive. Like, a lot of stuff was, they said some gay stuff back then that we supported.
Yeah.
From our hardest, most gangster rapper said some gay stuff. And the thing is, at some point, we got to put a handle on it because this music and these images and these thoughts aren't put out to other communities.
Yeah, I mean,
white people don't have it, the Hispanics don't have it, the Asians don't have it, given out to them.
Yeah, there is no, I guess, I don't know if there's a white thought culture equivalent.
None. Can you name one?
I think back to, I was like in middle school and I'm listening to Uncle Luke. I'm listening to. I was in middle school when the Me So Horny, all that stuff came out.
Right.
I walked in the shop, brought it. Life is too short. I'm looking back on it and I'm like, man, I was in the 7th grade. I shouldn't have been listening to that. Let me call my mom and ask her what's going on. Shout out to moms. And
honestly, the 4 of us, because I know y'all. Okay. I know y'all well enough to know that we had great parents. I've met your dad, right? Mm-hmm. I haven't met your parents, but I know we've had great parents around us that were able to at least talk to us about what we're listening to. The vast majority of kids nowadays,
they don't
not
have
saying
that.
the parents aren't great, but parents having to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, are not around as much.
You better teach your kids.
And the difference
It's
also
up to
was,
you.
growing up, y'all remember
Right.
we listened to FM radio, then it's the AM radio. We listen to the same music. Nowadays, these parents and kids listen to the exact same thing.
Yeah, you listen to what you and there was no equivalent of Spotify or YouTube.
Right.
Like you had to go buy it or you had to wait until you saw it on
now
TV.
you got
so
parents.
there was a filter between you and the explicit version.
We've always had though things getting out that weren't supposed to, to certain ages.
Yeah, of course.
We can even talk about our parents sneaking Richard Pryor tapes or records, back in
Right,
the day.
but they were sneaking them out their parents' room and
but
they got
this
in
is what
trouble
I'm
for it.
saying.
Yeah,
This is
I
what
would
I'm saying.
sneak to watch Eddie Murphy,
Look,
Delirious, all that good stuff.
And I understand what you're saying about, because this is what we often get. People say, well, it's okay because y'all talk about it in rap. But I find that the older I get, I'll criticize a male rapper as well.
Me too.
And so
I criticize that too on my same social media.
And at the same time, I do realize this though. They wouldn't be doing it if people weren't buying it.
But they wouldn't be doing it if they wasn't promoted, if the money wasn't given to them. And we did that years ago. 20, 30 years ago.
But what I'm saying is if people stop buying it, the record labels would not clear them songs. They would not pay $8 million for a video.
As an adult,
they wouldn't do it.
No, let me tell you this. As an adult, you had a right to buy it. Porn is still out there. You have the right as an adult to look at and listen to adult material. The thing is, before it was like I couldn't, like as a kid, I couldn't go into a porno store and buy porn. I couldn't go into the record store and buy music that wasn't made for me, right?
True.
Now
it's more accessible.
It's just accessible so much
it's
more
right
that we have to take more ownership in what you put out. I can't just put out and say anything. If I have a platform, like for example at this podcast, I can't go out there and say, hey, kill all people under 5 feet tall. And then when it happens, I say, well, hey, that was on you. You didn't have no parents to tell you to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the other part of it, too, is I think you said between 40-year-old you and 15, 20-year-old you is who's the target audience. Or we are not necessarily their target audience.
I don't know. When it come to that particular song,
now
hold on. When it come down to thoughtish activity,
you are your target audience.
You're not.
Look. I would say their marketing actually is probably about 50 to about 4, and I think that's the terrible part.
Okay, well, let me ask you
this.
And
I'm serious.
Let me tell you why it's not.
As far as the age demographic, how would you break that down? Who's it targeted?
We're not the target. Let me ask you this question.
Uh-huh.
I'm tell you about this question.
Right.
Name one Megan Thee Stallion song that's not this one. Exactly. So that's my point. That's my point.
But you know what?
But I can tell you what, my nieces are 18 and 19 years old. They know all the Megan Thee Stallion
songs.
Right.
But I can also tell you a 50-year-old woman that know every Megan Thee Stallion song. I could tell you that I was watching it today with women who are older who completely enjoyed it.
No, they love it.
And so I'm saying when we look at these things and we back up, there are a lot of women of all ages who like it. Now, who the exact target marketing is for, I'm not qualified to give that answer because I can see who like it.
I assumed you were qualified.
I would say, but I'm not. I can't be
you
exact.
Assume, right?
Ballpark for everybody.
A part of this whole, rah-rah behind this is women empowerment hidden in the back of this thing. So
but is this empowerment though?
That was my question.
It is
with
a part
Lizzo.
of women empowerment because men have been in control of how women are perceived for so long.
Right.
Women are now taking control of their own perception. So hold on a second, because now you got OnlyFans, now you got all these things, you got these songs. I don't really think it's that big of a deal, to be honest with you. I just think, like, you regulate your household, you regulate your kids how you regulate them.
But most people don't have anybody to regulate their household.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I can turn off my kids' internet from right here.
You can. Most people don't have access to do that.
Sucks to be them.
There's messages that you could take. Just unplug it till you get home.
You can, yeah, exactly.
I'm taking the motor.
Or
you can take it with you to work if you want to.
So hold up. Most people don't see the need to.
Because they don't want to.
Because they don't understand it.
But they don't want to.
So does that take
you understand naked women dancing around might not be good for your 12-year-old.
That may be fine, but what I'm saying is this. Does that excuse and exonerate the responsibility of the person that puts the music out there?
Well, here's my thing. Men, we can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways.
We can't have it both ways. We can't put women out as hoes and thoughts and pour champagne in their head.
I think that's wrong too.
One minute, and then come back when they take control of their own ways they're perceived and say, "Oh, this is horrible." We can't.
Let me ask you a
But
question.
here's the equivalent to that for me. If white people put us out as blackface and jigaboos and pickaninnies, if we just start prancing around as jigaboos and pickaninnies,
that's a hard.
No, it's not.
That's a horrible equivalent.
No, it's not, because if you didn't like the way we were making you feel, and we like the way that we objectified you, then why are you now objectifying yourself the same way? If you like me calling you a hoe and throwing money on you and pouring champagne on you,
but they're not calling themselves hoes.
But
the song is "There's Some Hoes in This House."
And they in the house.
They in the video.
Song is called "Us Some Wet Ass."
So
Look, yeah.
we can say that word, by the way. This is
we
Sticks and
can.
Shit Talk
We're
podcast.
not on the radio. We can actually
But
say
that's
it.
what I'm saying, though. You're literally doing that. If you didn't like us doing it, then why are you doing it to yourself?
I just personally think it's too late for men to get
Well,
involved in
this
when
is-
women are taking control.
Hold on. Let me say
I'm not trying
something.
to
Let me
stop
say
the
something
women.
real quick. As far as women empowerment, I think that's a slippery slope, because do a woman have to be
It
naked
is.
to empower herself?
No.
Hold on.
Not at all.
And then when we talk about it again, when we talk about the whole totality of it, I am sure they're not clearing the money for it. It's going to be an old white man who is clearing the money for it. So if they're taking empowerment for themselves, they're still doing it for the projection. Who's that attracted to that? Men. They're still doing it for
Well,
the
you're talking about the
perception
money
of what
aspect.
men-
We're talking about
No.
the artistry.
The artistry,
It's not
that
about the
artistry
artistry.
is not something that women are attracted to
Cardi
unless
B's-
they're
Cardi
that's
B's-
into it. That's sexualizing that men like.
I know you got Delvin, but real quick, Cardi B's statement about this was, "I want to make other music, but that's not what's bought.
You're not buying
This
it.
is about money.
It's
This
a
is
business.
This is not about a power statement. This is not about empowering herself.
It's what
She
you
is
paying
saying
for.
This is what they paying
Right,
for.
but
David Banner made that same statement
I guess
years ago.
I guess the only thing I'm saying to this whole equation is there's no different in what they're doing and what the new artists are doing, the male artists are doing today.
I agree. We
shooting
said-
100
I agree.
members, shooting 100 people on one song.
No, I
it's
agree
no
with
different.
you.
But how
It's
often
not
I
different.
talk
Both
shit
of them
about
need to be
that?
stopped, though.
Well,
We say the same
I still
thing.
listen to a lot of it though, so I'm kind of guilty.
What I'm saying
I'm
is,
being honest. You
no,
know,
we might listen to
Hey, what you say,
10
Tyrone?
people
I've
on the record,
listened
but
to
not 100.
but not 100.
You're not doing
yeah,
100.
10 people
Yeah,
you could kill.
I got a 10-person limit.
Yeah, 10-person limit.
As far as shooting shot and shit. Yeah.
What you got, Delvin? You got something to say?
All right, is this inappropriate? Because we talked about that word. That is
Inappropriate.
not a
The
word we use
vaginal
a
word?
lot. That is a
Inappropriate
vaginal
is a
word.
vaginal
We
word?
don't use that a lot here. Is it inappropriate, Miles?
Is it inappropriate? I think I don't know about inappropriate, but I definitely feel it's unnecessary.
I feel it's inappropriate for children, just like Pornhub.
But here's the
After
reason
that,
why.
have at it. Here's some hoes in this house.
I'll make one other statement about the difference between then and now. The difference was back then when we had 2 Live Crew, we also had Public Enemy. When we had Bust Down, we
Big
also had Ice
difference.
Cube. Right now, who is the antithesis to what Cardi B and Megan are doing?
They don't get no play.
You're speaking of
They
women,
They get
right?
no play, and
So
so that
just-
is something.
You're speaking
that's
of women
big.
particularly, right?
Right. Well, we
But
have your Tierra Wax.
So we have Rhapsody,
those-
but
I
she's
see what
not
you're
getting
There's
played.
not
But
like
she's
a
not
Queen
getting played.
Latifah
Yeah.
equivalent.
Well, so
Right.
basically, what you're saying is we don't have any balance.
You don't have any choice
There's
in
no
any
balance.
balance.
All we
I agree with
have,
that.
well, there's no balance in the mainstream. If you want to find balance, you have to look so hard
Right.
for it.
Even when
That's what's being pumped to us. But again,
we were coming up,
who's clearing the money for that?
when we looked and went on Rap City or we went on YouTube Raps at 4:00, you might see a Luke video, but right after that you'll see a Public Enemy or Ice or whoever.
or
else.
Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Something right after. It was you had a choice.
Women, you had Bahamadia. We had all
We had
so
all kinds of stuff. We
many
had
different.
Moni Love and Queen Latifah and MC Light and Salt and Pepper.
We had
all-
the conscious daughters rapping about gangster shit, but they
Right.
were still conscious.
Lady
daughters.
of Rage was even rapping about gangster.
Shout out
but it
to the
wasn't
conscious
that.
daughters.
Conscious shout out.
Shout
We had to go back in the crates for that one. I got
Old
ash
Town's
all
finest,
on me.
baby.
But but look, there is no balance.
It's not
and
balance.
I think that is a part of the problem, and that's the biggest part of the equation.
Right.
Is when they're getting inundated with so much thoughtish. It's just like if all you got to hear was NWA. Well, you know, a bunch of people gonna get shot up. You gotta
Right.
have some type of balance, and the balance
There's
is
a
sorely
I
lacking.
think there's an extreme difference between art imitating life and life imitating art, and I think we've gotten to the point now where life imitates art way too much.
We're in a gray area.
We're I don't know, man. I think we've already crossed